Hello and welcome to our webinar, Choosing a Nursery, School, College for your child with SEN. First off, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our service and explain a little bit more about who we are. So for sure, our service is called SENDIASS, which is Special Educational Needs and Disability Information Advice and Support Services. SEND is a service for those living or working with ages 0 to 25 years with special educational needs and disability. Information. We provide factual information that is found in SEND law and practices, as well as local knowledge and signposting to other services. Advice. We provide impartial advice on what steps to take in areas of education, health and social care. And support. We provide confidential, individualised support to empower those who seek our assistance. There are many different types of school, and on this page we're going to explain what each one is. A maintained school is an educational institution which is controlled and funded by the local authority. An independent school is an educational institution which is independent of the local authorities and the Secretary of State. A mainstream school is a school which is not a special school and is either a maintained school or an academy. A specialist school is a school which is specially organised to make special educational provision for pupils with SEN. Resource-based provide targeted specialist support but are not separate schools or institutions. They are units within a mainstream school. When looking at how to find the best placement, a good place to start first is looking at your local catchment school. A catchment is a defined geographical area surrounding a school from which it will usually take most of its pupils. You should be able to find a link on your council's website to check your catchment school. If you can't find this, you could contact their admissions teams and the contact details at the end of this presentation, or you can ask us to help you. Below are some further websites to help you when choosing a placement. Some of these focus on special schools only, and others do have information on mainstream schools as well. The Special Needs UK one has a search engine which is based on the diagnosis. So for example, if your child has a diagnosis of a moderate learning disability, you can click on that link and it will come up with all your local schools whose main area or focus is moderate learning difficulties. All local authorities will have a local offer online, and the local offer does provide information for children and young people with special educational needs and their parents or carers in a single place. It shows families what they can expect from a range of local agencies, including education, health and social care. On the local offer, there will be the option to view all of the local schools, including special schools, and be able to filter out the particular age of your child, whether they're going into a primary school, a secondary school, a college. The links are below for our local ones, which are Southampton City Council, Portsmouth City Council and West Berkshire City Council. When applying for a nursery, it is worth contacting the chosen provider as to how to apply for a place with them, as applications do vary really widely. They will be able to give you any documentation that needs to be completed or give you details on how you can apply online. If you are offered a place, they may ask you to pay a deposit or a retainer to secure that place. All 3 to 4-year-olds in England can now get 573 hours per year. This is usually taken at 15 hours a week for 38 weeks of the year, but you can choose to take fewer hours over more weeks, for example. To be eligible for 30 hours free childcare for your 3 or 4-year-old, you and any partner must each expect to earn, on average, the equivalent of working 16 hours a week at your national minimum wage. When applying for a school without an EHCP, it is expected that you will either receive an application form through the post or you will receive it via an email where you will get a direct link to be able to apply for them online. Below are the contact details for the city councils that we work for, and also the websites to find out further information. The most important thing to remember here is going to be the application deadlines, which for an early years provider to school, an infant school to junior school and a primary school to middle school is the 15th of January, and a primary school to a secondary school or a middle school to a secondary school is the 31st of October. When applying for a school without an EHCP, you can usually apply for 3 schools, or 4 if it is secondary. You put these in order of your preference. How are the places allocated? Local authorities do set their admission criteria, but they usually give priority to children who have special educational needs, are being looked after by the local authority, are the child of a member of staff, have a sibling at the school already, are from a particular religion if it's a faith school, live in a specified priority area. Once these criteria have been met, it usually comes down to distance. For example, how far your child lives from the school. Distance may be measured by either a straight line from your home to the school, called as the crow flies, or with walking distance. Now we are looking at how you apply for a college without an EHCP, an Education, Health and Care Plan. Research your local college, put it in Google, or have a look on their Facebook pages. They will have direct links for their websites on their pages. Talk to some of the friends and family that maybe have attended these colleges. What were their experiences? Whilst researching the colleges, have a look to see if they have an open evening. If you can attend an open evening, it is a good idea. It will give you a really good feel for the college. You'll be able to see how big or how small the college is, the layout of the college. Are they accessible? Do they have lifts? Do they have good facilities? Do they have a gym? How about their library? Do they have a good IT suite? On the college's websites, they'll also have their prospectus, and it's worth looking at this to check that they do the course that you want to do. Not all colleges will offer the same courses. Some colleges will be vocational only and others will just be A-levels. Look at the entry requirements of the course that you wish to do too. If you're unsure of what college that you'd like to go to, you can actually apply for more than one college and accept more than one college place at first. You can apply online using their application form. All colleges will have the equivalent of a SENCO. They may not call it a SENCO, some people call it a learning support, but if you do wish, you could arrange to have an informal chat with the learning support to talk about the support that the college can offer you without you or your child having an EHCP. When your child or yourself have a EHCP, there is a process when you're applying for a placement, and it starts off by requesting a EHCP review. That may be that you request the EHCP or the school do. This then will then need to be amended. You do have the right to request any of the following types of schools or colleges. So there is a maintained school or nursery, which can be mainstream or special. It is an academy, which can be mainstream or special too. It is an institution in the further education sector, a non-maintained special school and a Section 41 school. These are all listed in Section 38(3) of the Children's and Family Act. It is important to take note of the application deadlines, which are for early years providers to school, the infant school to junior school, the primary school to middle school, the primary school to secondary school and the middle school to secondary school. The application deadline is the 15th of February. If it's a secondary education to either a post-16 placement or an apprenticeship, this is the 31st of March. On this slide, we have the contact details for the local authority SEN teams that we work with, and this is the Southampton City Council, Portsmouth City Council and West Berkshire City Council. If you don't live in this area, it is a matter of going onto Google and putting in the SEN team for your local city council. This should then come up with some contact details for you to find out further information. When you are deciding which schools and colleges are suitable, here are some questions that you might want to research or maybe ask a school if you can't find out online. Who does the school cater for? Does it offer the course that you require? What facilities are available? What is the physical layout of the building? What are the school staffing ratio? And where is the access to the professionals, for example, the occupational therapist, educational psychologist or speech and language therapy? Is the SENCO part of their management team as well? What is the age range of the school and what year group would your child be entering? Is this placement residential or a day placement, and will it be a full-time or part-time attendance? How can I find this information? The information could be found on the school prospectus, which is usually online. They should also have an SEN policy and their SEND information report, all reported online. There is also the admissions policy or the Ofsted reports to look at, and there is a link below. What to ask the school and look for on a visit. When you are going around the school, it's worth considering what time of year it is. If it's at Christmas time, there's a high chance that everything's going to be out of routine. Children are probably more excited. They might be out of their classroom and in the school hall practicing the play. How about if one of the years have gone on a school trip? The school's likely to be a lot more quieter, so you won't be seeing the real picture of an everyday school. When looking at meeting the key staff, Is the SENCO also a teacher? Do the school have a consistent teaching assistant in each classroom so that there's less changes for the school? And who does the interventions? Is there a particular person, or is it just as and when a person is available? You might want to ask if the school have a breakfast and after school club, but also we need to be considering the layout of the school. Is this suitable for your child? Is it accessible? Is it going to work? Do you need to have a school that's got a lift, or maybe a bungalow school? When your child has an EHCP, the local authority, before naming the school, must consult the governing body, the property or principal of any school or other institution the authority is considering having named in the plan. And if that school or other institution is maintained by another LA, then they must speak to the home LA. The LA should give them 15 days to respond. And if they fail to respond, the LA does not have to wait to make a decision about naming the school or college. The LA still needs to stick to statutory deadlines for issuing a final plan. The final decision rests with the LA where the child or young person live. Even if the school or college and the LA where the school or college is located is different, the home LA can still choose to name the school or college in that plan. You have the right to a mainstream education. This can be your catchment, but it doesn't have to be. You're entitled to name the most suitable school for your child. When naming an independent school, it is likely that during the 15 days consultation period, your child will have a test day to see if this is the most appropriate school setting for them. When can a local authority say no to your school request? The only reason that a local authority can refuse the request is if the setting is unsuitable for the age, ability, aptitude or special educational needs of the child or young person, or the attendance of the child or young person would be incompatible with the provision of efficient education for others, or the attendance of the child or young person would be incompatible with the efficient use of resources. This is set out in section 39(4) of the Children and Family Act 2014. The LA has to prove that at least one of these conditions apply in order to dislodge the parent's or young person's preference. If this is the case for your chosen school, you do have the option to appeal the LA's decision, and SENDIASS can offer support with this. Here are some further links to help you when you are choosing a school or a college. Thank you for listening. If you do have any further questions, our contact details are below, specifically for West Berkshire SENDIASS, Southampton SENDIASS and Portsmouth SENDIASS.